This is 5 types of professional pilots. Hey guys, Hellcat pilot here, and I'm just flying along here. I had an empty leg by myself, single pilot jet here, and just had an idea for a video popped in my head. This video is probably geared more towards the student pilot or a pilot wanting to going through his training, wanting to become a professional pilot. I just thought of something. You know, I've been in the business now I've been flying professionally for over 20 years now, and I've been through just about all of it. Of course, flight instructor. I flew freight in the middle of the night as a 135 operator, which means charter freight. I flew charter freight for a 121 operator, so I knew a lot of the 121 freight guys. I have cousins who flew 121 freight. I flew 135 charter for people, which is on-demand air taxi in a small corporate jet. I have flown for the airlines, and I've flown for I've flown what I do now, which is a corporate pilot for a private family or a private company. So I've pretty much done everything in this business but crop dusting. So anyway, number one, first type of professional pilot is the airline pilot. Probably the most well-known.
Good morning.
The airline pilot has the potential to probably make the most money out of all the other types, but not everybody's going to make it. A very small percentage make it to the big jets, flying the long hauls, and the big money. It's just the way the world is right now. However, the airline pilot probably has the easiest job out of all of them. And all he has to do is make sure his butt's in the seat at whatever time it says on his little piece of paper. The second kind, now the other problem with the airline pilot is you're kind of like a bus driver in the sky. You know, you got to deal with a lot of, that's the way I view it. It's like you got to deal with a lot of snot-nosed, complaining people. Where my job as a corporate pilot, I'm kind of like a limo driver. I'm dealing with high-end people, just a few of them, going somewhere different all the time. Now, I did say the airline pilot has the potential to make the most money. I probably shouldn't have said that because that's not even really true. Scratch that from the record. The airline pilot has the most potential to make an average living. There are a few situations where you're like flying the Delta 74, the 7576 on the long haul Europe trips, and you work just a few days a month. That's going to be like your last 5 to 8 years of your career where you're making the really big money. Most of the time you're going to be you know, making a decent living, but not the really big money. Next type of pilot is you know, freight. There's different versions of this. There's kind of like an intro level freight pilot flying 135 freight, and then there's your UPS, FedEx, DHL guys. Those are 121 freight, basically like airlines, only you're flying boxes. And you make a similar living as the airlines, and it's a similar type of situation, schedules, and the way the seniority works, and everything else. It's also a pretty good living, but you're living on the backside of the clock. The boxes fly in the middle of the night while everybody in the world's sleeping. So that's one thing you got to get used to. Your circadian rhythm, and it gets all screwed up, and you're living on the backside of the clock. Some guys like that. It mostly just messes with everybody else. The other type of pilot is a charter pilot. Charter pilots it's usually like an up-and-coming position. It's usually something somebody does while they're building time to get to the airlines or to get to the nice corporate job. This is an on-demand like air taxi service. And it's usually in the smaller airplanes. It could be in large cabin business jets. like Challengers, Gulfstreams, or it could be in like a Learjet type of situation.
Streams 172, contact
the money is
134.907.
The money is on the lower end of the scale,
34.97.
but it doesn't have to be. There are some exceptions out there. The next type is the fourth type is any kind of government work. Guys that do career military, even the guys that do the career military usually get out with enough time to go to the airlines or go do some corporate stuff or whatever. Or there's also a whole slew of other government jobs, being pilots, like for the Secret Service and the Immigration Department, Homeland Security. All these government agencies have pilots for them that, if they don't have a military pilot, I don't know what you'd call it, contract or something to fly them around, but a lot of them have their own pilots now. So that's a whole nother career. And then there's the fifth type, which I like the best, which is what I do after doing them all. I am a corporate pilot. And beyond a corporate pilot, instead of flying for a company, I fly for an individual and who owns his own airplane, a private family. And this type of flying truly is, in my opinion, the best kind of pilot you could be. And there's several reasons for that, but it always comes back to the same thing, which is schedule and money. This is, to me, the most rewarding. I manage this airplane, so I take care of it. I make sure that the maintenance is done. This is my baby. It's the only airplane I fly. I know the family really well. We're always going somewhere fun or different. And, you know, as far as money goes, it's more money than I've ever made in any other flying job. And it's also got the best schedule. Well, can't get into it too much, but, I mean, it's by far the most rewarding, the best flying you could do is for a corporate, finding the right corporate gig or a private gig. And every one of them are going to be different, so it's hard to put your finger on exactly how it's different, because you could get a bad one too. There are those out there. But anyway, that's my perspective on the 5 different kinds of... All right, guys, sorry to cut it short, but the camera's dead. That's all I got. Leave some comments. I'll answer any questions you got. We'll see you next time. Subscribe if it's the first time here. Like the video. I got some great stuff planned. Don't go anywhere.
So Jackson,
we'll see you.
JetBlue 7, I'm sorry.